fellow Nigerians. I salute you. I'm Jacob Tewa Jijingi, and I'm the convener, New Nigeria Agenda. You can find us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and also on TikTok. Search us by the name New Nigeria Agenda, bracket NNA, and voila, there we are. Few days ago, on June 12th precisely, Nigeria marked Democracy Day. And that raises the fundamental question for this discussion. Is it really Democracy Day without democracy? And if there's democracy, is it really benefiting us, the ordinary citizens and majority of people? This Democracy Day, the president honored a number of people, most of whom are already late or deceased. And that again raises a very good question. Should we honor ourselves and honor our dear ones when they are gone, or while they are still around? How long are we going to carry on with this culture of recognizing, appreciating, and honoring heroes, legends, only when they are dead? Why are they not good enough for such honors when they are alive, but they become good enough for the same honors when they are dead? That should call our thinking, our conscience as a people, as a country, into question. And we should have a change for a start. One of the persons, or one of the eminent personalities that the president honored this Democracy Day was late Professor Humphrey Nwosu, former NEC chairman. Now we call NEC INEC. Prof. Nwosu was still alive last year. The president didn't honor him. And the president himself recently contested in an election that he is said to have won. INEC declared him the winner and also issued him a certificate of return. If the president was sincerely okay with that election, if he saw that election as a landmark decision and measure of democracy, it shouldn't have taken long to recognize a personality like Humphrey Nwosu, who gave Nigeria and Nigerians the election that is still adjudged to be the freest and fairest in the history of the country. Right? But that didn't happen. So this is a very recent example, and it's very remarkable, it's significant. Prof. Humphrey Nwosu was still with us last year, 2019, 24. He died and was buried not too long ago. Now, as at the time he was due for burial, his kinsmen requested, and that is a sad commentary for us, that such an inevitable, the least we could do for Humphrey, had to be put on request. And what happened? It generated heated debate. Just naming an electoral house, the national headquarters of INEC after Humphrey Nwosu, became a subject of national debate. And that shows us just how much shame this country is now comfortable with. Okay? So, in a nutshell, that request was turned down. Humphrey Nwosu was not worthy having an election house named after him. Then all of a sudden, on Democracy Day in particular, he is found worthy to be accorded some honor. That is double standard. That is hypocrisy. That is confusion of the highest order. It doesn't really make sense of us as a people, as a country. It doesn't make sense of the government as well. All right? So that's a very important observation. Then we had people like Kensaro Wiwa. The president said he has granted them pardon posthumously. Okay? Now one question I've been asking since, what wrong did Kensaro Wiwa do that he is now being pardoned? We have not been told. And if he did wrong, since we like doing things posthumously, why not take the matter to court so the court could decide whether he actually did wrong or not? Because I learned it was not the regular courts that tried and convicted Kensaro Wiwa. It was a military tribunal. So if we wanted to make a significant statement of democracy, we could have taken that to the regular courts, challenge the jurisdiction of the military tribunal as well, and let that be on record for future generations to show Nigeria is truly at home with democracy. Right? So we need to be told, what are you pardoning him for? Did he actually do something wrong? And then another significant question, since these persons are no longer alive, what does the honor or pardon really do for them? How are their loved ones and families going to benefit from such honor or pardon? It is the answer or answers to these questions that can lead us to conclude whether those honors and pardons really make sense when offered posthumously. Right? So that is only it. But the bigger question that we are asking and indeed trying to answer for this Democracy Day, is it really Democracy Day without democracy? And if there's democracy, does it really benefit us, the ordinary citizens, and the majority of people? There are so many ways we can assess this, but I would like us to do so under two headings for the purpose of this discussion. Let's look at democracy and security. It is the primary and chief responsibility of any government to protect human life and property of citizens. Once a government facing that, it is not worthy to be called a government. It is not sustainable and should be booted out, should be replaced immediately. That is just the plain truth. That is a sacred fact. And democracy is a system of government. So we're looking at democracy as a system of government in Nigeria. If it has worked elsewhere, has it worked for us? Is it working for us? And with specific reference to security. It is only mid-term into the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we can all see how security has worsened to unprecedented levels. It is not a subject of debate. It is already within the knowledge of the international community. The president himself has been absent most of the time to these security incidents in Benue, Plateau, Taraba, in eastern Nigeria and the rest of the country. And we must thank the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, the head of state of another country, for bringing to the attention of our own president a horrible security incident that happened only a few days ago here in Benue State, precisely in Yewata, Guma local government area. The Pope called the attention of our own president, and indeed the rest of the world, to that unfortunate incident. He also described it rightly as a terrible massacre, as an unwarranted act of violence on rural people or vulnerable population. So apt he was in not only calling the attention of our president and the global community to the situation, but indeed describing the situation as it is. Because that's the starting point. If you don't get it right from there, you can't get it right at any other point. We must know what we are facing as a people before we can even think of how it can be effectively approached and tackled. So today, the president was here in Benue State. Okay, even if he didn't come voluntarily, even if it took too long in coming, and this of course is his first visit to the Middle Belt, to a Christian state, since these horrific attacks increased. So we must still commend him for making the visit. The question from now on, or the questions from now on, will be, what did he really say that made sense? Has his approach to security changed? And are we going to see good results and outcomes, credible results and outcomes in the coming days? That for us, we decide whether we should commend or criticize the president, and indeed do more. Okay, in the wake of the recent attacks here in Benue State, many individuals and groups all over the world have called on the president to resign, and rightly so. Rightly so. So their call is in order. However, the president has visited. That's a commendable step. we can give him benefit of doubt. But if there should be any further attack, and the president still appear clueless, unconcerned as well, it will only be right for the call on the president to resign to not only be made again, but indeed to be embraced by everyone. Because security is sacrosanct. It's one of the things that call to question the credentials of democracy. Whether we are practicing democracy or whether democracy is even suitable to us as a people. If democracy as a system of government is not delivering security to us, is there any sense in embracing it? And if there's no democracy yet, why are we yet to entrench or establish it? That's the fundamental question here. Another thing we can consider is between democracy and economy. Has the lives of citizens improved? Their welfare, their livelihoods, their income, their purchasing power, and all of that? Until these questions are satisfactorily answered, we cannot conclude that we have a democracy and it's working for us. These are the questions we must ask and answer fast, because time is already running out. People are dying, some due to insecurity, some due to economy. In either case, people are dying, people are suffering. So we must again ask here, has democracy as a system of government improved our economy and it touched on all of our lives in not just quantitative but qualitative measures and aspects? So this is where we are. These are the areas we consider and indeed assess democracy in Nigeria as well as Benue State today. Is democracy really working for us? Is there security of life and property? Is the economy improving for all of us and with all of us? So, and this is where we should conclude our conversation too. And we should not just conclude our conversation, we should begin to take the right action. If there's democracy in Nigeria, but the current version of it is not serving us well, then what is the alternative democracy that you and me are working on? And if there's no democracy at all, but we as a people still desire democracy, how are we actually working to entrench it? That should form, the answers to this question should form our action plan. The politicians are not sleeping. They are outright failures as far as you and me are concerned. But then they are determined to hold on to power even against our wishes. So what are we as a people doing? Sleeping as usual and hoping things will just change by some magic? No, we should also not be sleeping. And if you look carefully at the current security situation, it's already telling us we can't sleep. A whole lot is going on that tells us we can't sleep. Even if we want to sleep, we are no longer allowed that luxury anymore under the current security and economic situation. So we as a people, we must wake up in every way, make sure we have democracy in place, or make sure we have the right alternative to the current democracy that is not serving us well. Okay, let's keep the conversation going. Then, just like the politicians are forming groups and parties and coalitions, making sure that they entrench their own in office, they hold on to power. So we should also do that. We should continue to keep the conversation going. We should continue to take action. Okay? And it mustn't be all the people at once. Yes, people can occasionally come out for protest. And when it comes to security, it's beyond just protest now. We are now at the stage where any further provocation in the form of security attacks must be pursued with call for resignation at all levels, starting with the president down to the governors, and indeed the senators and House of Rep members, all of that together. If the president or governor is incompetent in handling affairs, the National Assembly, the state assemblies, they're supposed to commence impeachment proceedings immediately. If they have not done that and they don't have the intention of doing that, they should also go. There's no one who will tell the president or governor to go and will not tell them to go. They will also have to go. The political appointees included, the security chiefs as well. So it's beyond protest now. We can call on the masses, on the majority of people to come together for protest. But when it comes to security, the protest is not just to register displeasure over security incidents anymore, but the protest is to insist that the president and governor, if any further security attacks happen, they resign. Same thing for the National Assembly members and State Assembly members. If people will continue to die under their watch, and all that interests them is politics, all that interests them is endorsement of who and who, or defection of who and who to which party, from which party, then we have to go. Yes, then we have to go. So we should look at that closely. We should involve the international community. You know, with the level we are divided in this country, and with the level many people come into conversations foolishly, driving political sentiments instead of the facts of security on ground. You know, the international community itself, except they use their own channels of information, they cannot comprehend otherwise. Okay, so we taking action, we that are serious, we that are sensible and focused. We taking action means we will inform the international community too correctly, and at the point we want the president, governors, National Assembly and State Assembly members to go, the international community has to be informed. We are fed up with these people. Don't welcome them in your own countries. Don't transact any business with them. And help us by all means to get them to resign, because that is what we want now. Yes, and I hope that should be the next possible line of action. No more Lamentations. The book of Lamentations in the Bible was written several thousands of years ago. We are beyond that stage of writing book of Lamentation now. It should be the appropriate action or nothing. So let's go there together. Let's involve the international community too. If our politicians have a lot of things they are hiding from us and the international community know about them, they should also stop playing politics with those things. If the president or governor or senator or anyone has criminal files anywhere, release them to us, the Nigerian public, so that these people will not continue to occupy office illegally and to torment citizens, to oppress us, to kill us. Because that is what directly or indirectly they are doing today. So we must carry the international community along in our conversation. Where it involves calls to resignation, let them put pressure on the concerned persons as well. so that that call for resignation will be effective. And last but not the least, just as the politicians are strategizing, let us also be strategizing. We can all see the strategy of the politicians. We can see how they are getting their own kind of results. Endorsements, defections, these are ongoing every day. Then what about we, the ordinary citizens? What is our own strategy? How far with campaign for electoral reforms? Has anything started? If it has not started, why are we still asleep? Why are we comfortable with that? We should have a strategy. We should have a line of action that we are pursuing vigorously and purposefully. We should have that in place already. Okay? And at this point, we don't need to wait for hundreds, thousands of people to congregate with us. Let us know who and who to rally around. Is it the convener of the New Nigeria Agenda? Is it some activists out there? Who makes the most sense to you? Who has exactly what it takes to bring those fundamental changes this country needs? Okay? And I'm not sounding political here. I'm talking in terms of patriotic zeal and action. Who has that now? Who has the vision and capacity as well? Okay? Some will have the vision, the capacity is not there. Some have the capacity, the vision is not really there. How do you bring them together? This should be part of our own strategy as ordinary citizens. Who do we rally around? Okay? If it's a group of 10, how do we pursue this agenda discreetly? Make sure that just like the politicians keep surprising us, we too surprise them. Let them not know when we are going on protest next. Let it come sudden. Let them not even know when we discuss that, if possible. Yes. It's not all the time actually that we have to bring everything to the open discussions. There are some actions that individuals and groups out there should also be taken discreetly to not only put the government on toes, but also make sure that the government or the government officials are booted out if they don't do the needful. So that's where we wrap it up for today. And I hope this made a whole lot of sense to you. I would love to hear from you in the comment section. If you desire a new Nigeria that works for all of us, just like I do, let's keep this conversation going. And let's join hands and hearts together to make it all work. Thank you for your attention. Stay safe and do your part till I come your way again. I remain Jacob Tewa Jijingi, convener, New Nigeria Agenda. Have a good night rest.